Buy any large appliance and get 6 entries, plus a chance to spin our Festober wheel. What's on the Festober wheel? Extra raffle tickets, Creole treats, instant discounts, store credit, and tickets to events like White Sunset, Independence Gopal, Prime, and the World Creole Music Festival. The more you shop, the more chances you have to win. So get ready to shop, spin, and celebrate Festober Burton style. And check us out on Facebook and Instagram for our social media promotions. Burton & Company, the electric shop.
As the Hadis were in tongue and Tita Udimo, Igayon Sing Kote L.A. Dipini Haria, Depi 1960, and up to now it's still afloat. It's stronger than Titanic. Agricultural tools, capacity hot, lamion génération, pour lot, L.A. Dipini ni vanish, epi tout qualité paint and accessories, for plumbing supplies, nuts and bolts, and all the little things, for farmer, plumber, tiler, painter, electrician, and little old ladies with vitamins like Mrs. Hobson, better known as Bold and Beautiful, who tries to fix everything at home, epi timatoy, her rubber boots, and oversized gloves on her hands.
Hey, you're listening to DBS Radio. This is Queen Mida Queen.
Join us at 9 this morning on your nation station. We'll be speaking with Mr. Ken Joseph and also Miss Grace Henderson, of course, on some initiatives that they have developed for young people here on island, and of course those in the international community as well, of course, to help them stay connected to our culture and our traditions. We'll bring you more info at 9 this morning. Be sure to join us. Up next, the DBS Major Morning News.
DBS News. Fresh in the morning. Eye-opening and balanced. The DBS Morning News starts right now.
Good morning. In the headlines, Acting Prime Minister Fidel Grant says Dominica will continue to adhere to the One China policy. St. Lucia added to U.S. human trafficking Tier 2 watch list. And White House says layoffs imminent with no end to shutdown in sight. The details follow.
Are you tired of having the same boring breakfast every morning? Well, Monflake Oats is the healthy and perfect solution just for you. Make your breakfast exciting by adding Monflakes to your pancakes, parfait, or even milkshake. Monflake can be found in different sizes and available in granola, such as Caribbean or Hawaiian. Stop worrying about what to prepare for your breakfast, dessert, snack, or even dinner. Monflake is the best addition to your meal. Grab yourself a bag today.
Locally distributed by Fine Foods Inc. and available island-wide.
Since 1910, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited has proudly served Dominica, offering a wide variety of products and services in shipping, logistics, insurance, travel, retail, and wholesale. We are committed to serve you. Contact us today at 767-255-1100 or visit us at our main office on Old Street, Roseau. From humble beginnings to proud achievements, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited.
Petro Caribe. Tank installation is part of our mission. Excellent client support is what we got. Contribution to development of Dominica. Supply of LPG at an affordable rate. Let's go. Petro Caribe straight. No time to waste. So come on everyone with me to Petro Caribe. 250 gallon propane tank. 420 pound propane tank. 100 pound LPG cylinder. Petro Caribe. 20 pound fiberglass cylinder. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe.
DBS News.
Good morning, I'm Ivona John Baptist Lugie with the DBS Morning News. Acting Prime Minister Fidel Grant says Dominica will continue to adhere to the One China policy. His statements came at the Chinese embassy last night during the celebration to mark the 76th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. He says China has played a key role towards Dominica's developments over the last 20 years.
For us in Dominica, tonight's celebration is a reminder of the long-standing friendship between our two countries. Since the establishment of diplomatic relations in 2004, Dominica and China have built a strong partnership grounded on mutual respect, solidarity, and trust. This relationship has yielded tangible benefits to our people, from modern infrastructure to improved healthcare, education facilities, and to housing projects that have uplifted the lives of many families and communities. China has been at our side in moments of our greatest need, whether after natural disasters or during the global pandemic COVID-19. Your timely assistance has always been a source of hope and comfort for Dominica, and for this we remain truly grateful. Your Excellencies, friends, our cooperation is always forward-looking. The construction of Dominica's International Airport with the support of a Chinese contracting firm is another example of how our partnership is helping to shape the future of our country. As we look forward, Dominica remains committed to strengthening the ties with the People's Republic of China, and we continue to adhere to the One China policy.
And that was Acting Prime Minister Fidel Grant. China's ambassador to Dominica, His Excellency Chu Maoming, says Dominica will continue to benefit from China's global development initiatives.
China fully understands the concerns of small island developing states such as Dominica and stands ready to work hand in hand with Dominican friends to advance the vision of harmony between man and nature. This month, the Communist Party of China will convene the 4th plenary session of its 20th Central Committee and deliberate on the 15th five-year plan. We are confident that China's economic development will continue to bring new opportunities and new momentum to the world, and we welcome Dominica to continue boarding the express train of Chinese modernization.
And that was China's ambassador to Dominica, His Excellency Chu Maoming. In more news this morning, a 9-member jury made up of 5 men and 4 women was directed to return a guilty verdict against a Cochrane man. Giovanni von Benoit Garaway was on trial this week, charged with causing the 2018 death of 10-year-old Natalia Matthew at Bath Estate by dangerous driving. On the 3rd day of the trial, Garaway changed his plea to guilty. Ronaldo Luke Pascal reports.
Garaway had originally pleaded not guilty during his arraignment on September 22nd. The case stems from an accident on June 6, 2018 at Bath Estate, when Matthew, a student of the Rosa Primary School, was crossing the main road at around 5:45 p.m. when she was struck by a pickup truck driven by the now convicted man. Police reports revealed that the truck was traveling west to east when Garaway overtook another vehicle and hit the child as she attempted to cross the road. The trial commenced on Monday, September 29th, before Her Ladyship, Justice Sigella McDowell, with State Attorney Kevin Julian having conduct of the prosecution's case. On Wednesday, the police investigator in the matter was a 6th witness who was called, with 2 remaining witnesses left for the prosecution. However, during the court's morning break, Garaway, represented by attorneys Wayne Norde and Gina Abraham Thomas, indicated his intention to change his plea. Following the break, the jury was formally instructed by Her Ladyship to deliver a guilty verdict. Thereafter, the court granted the continuation of Garaway's bail pending sentencing. The court has also ordered that the agreed facts of the case be filed by October 8th, a social inquiry report submitted by October 15th, and submission to be filed by October 22nd. The sentence hearing is scheduled for October 28th, 2025. Ronaldo Luke Pascal reporting for DBS News.
We thank Ronaldo Luke Pascal for that report. Dominica is among OECS member states which has signed on for the establishment of the Eastern Caribbean Citizenship by Investment Regulatory Authority. The agreement was signed by all OECS states who have a Citizenship by Investment program. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says this initiative is designed to safeguard the integrity, transparency, and sustainability of the Citizenship by Investment programs.
The establishment of the regulatory authority will ensure that our programs remain credible, secure, and globally respected. The authority will function as an independent regulatory body which will develop and enforce uniform standards and procedures governing the operation of all programs across participating states. It will oversee the activities of agents, developers, promoters, and due diligence service providers, ensuring compliance with both regional regulations and international best practices. It will conduct independent audits, carry out ongoing monitoring, and issue clear guidelines, directives, and recommendations to maintain consistency and fairness. One of the authority's most important functions will be to set minimum due diligence standards and ensure their rigorous application.
The Prime Minister says he's confident the new agreement will ensure high standards are kept within the Citizenship by Investment programs.
The agreement also provides for the creation of a centralized regional database to be managed by impacts. This database will consolidate all relevant data on applicants and their dependents across participating states. Its purpose is to strengthen regional and international security, enhance intelligence sharing, and ensure that our systems remain in full compliance with the standards and recommendations of the Financial Action Task Force and the OECD and other international bodies. The agreement, I believe, will be made available in full for our citizens to read, but it is my view that it is comprehensive in its scope and reflects the collective resolve of our governments to continue to maintain high standards. For Dominica, this step is entirely consistent with our long-standing commitment to uphold the highest standards of integrity in the management of our program. We are proud of the contribution that the CBI has made to our country's development, but we have always maintained that the success of the program depends on its credibility and its alignment with global best practices. We therefore welcome this regional approach. It is an important safeguard for the conduct of our programs and an indication of our willingness to act responsibly as sovereign states. Dominica is pleased with this agreement, and we will fully support the work of the new authority.
Prime Minister Roosevelt's Skerrit. President of the National Cooperative Credit Union, Clemens Masler, has announced that the institution's assets now exceed $8 million. His comments were made during the launch of the National Cooperative Credit Union's 15th anniversary celebrations on Wednesday. He highlighted the significant progress the organization has made over the past 15 years.
Today, 15 years later, we can proudly say that this decision to amalgamate was the right one. We have grown to over 54,000 members, making NCCU the largest credit union in the OACS, with an asset size north of $800 million. So we're getting closer to the $1 billion figure. We have expanded our services, modernized our operations, and strengthened our financial stability. We have supported families with mortgages, students with scholarships, entrepreneurs with business loans, and communities with development projects. Most importantly, we have upheld the cooperative principle, people before profit. The journey of amalgamation has truly been one of transformation to many and to one strong movement. This is also fitting to pay tribute to those who made it possible. The members of the Amalgamation Committee, the board of the founding credit unions, and the staff who worked tirelessly to align systems and to reassure members that although change is difficult, but that change was absolutely necessary. Their vision, their courage, their commitment gave birth to the institution we celebrate today. We stand boldly and proudly, unashamed, on the shoulders of those who have gone before us, and to let them know that we owe them a lasting debt of gratitude.
President of the National Cooperative Credit Union, Clemens Masler. CEO of the NCCU, Curve Charles, outlined the activities planned to mark the 15th anniversary of the institution.
And this anniversary is not just a milestone. It is a celebration of our members, a celebration of our staff, a celebration of our volunteers, and a celebration of our communities. Over the coming weeks, we have planned a series of activities and offerings. 15 in 15 by 15 staff video series, featuring 15 short stories of colleagues with over 15 years of services. Community and branch engagement projects, where each NCCU branch will deliver at least one visible community initiative. Thanksgiving service at the Roseau Seventh-day Adventist Church on November 1st to give the Almighty Father thanks. On November 1st, we honor the members of the Amalgamation Committee who initiated the formation of the NCCU Limited and who stand behind where we are today. Anniversary loan offerings has been offered as well. We want every Dominican to feel included in this celebration because NCCU belongs to all of us.
CEO of the National Cooperative Credit Union, Curve Charles. Ferry services to Dominica have been temporarily disrupted due to technical issues with the FRS Express vessel. Hans Victor, Operations Supervisor at the Shipping Department of HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited, is optimistic that services will resume on October 12.
FRS Express has experienced some significant technical difficulties with one of its vessels, the vessel that is currently servicing the international line. The international line is from Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, and St. Lucia. That is a problem that cannot be resolved, cannot get a quick fix for. We were forced to cancel all the calls for the rotation of that vessel. Now, persons are asking questions, it is one vessel we have. No, we don't. We have 3 vessels, but you can well imagine that 3 vessels have commitments to other destinations and for services. Now, one of the other vessels is on dry dock, which is a must in this period. The 3rd vessel is servicing the domestic line, which is Guadeloupe and Marie-Galante. The traffic between Guadeloupe and Marie-Galante is very heavy, so therefore we cannot remove that vessel to service the international line. We don't want to compound one problem with another. So the hard decision had to be taken, cancel calls until the 11th, hoping to resume on the 12th of October. It was a very hard decision, but it had to be taken.
Victor says accommodations have been arranged for passengers affected by the disruption.
Passengers have been coming into our offices, have been calling, sending emails and so on, and they have been given the necessary information. Customers have been rebooked to the next available vessel. Those who cannot, they would fend for themselves, take a flight or catch another boat or whatever the case may be, and they would send an email to our after-sales service support team to claim or anything in that regard. So far it has been going okay. We have not had too many irate passengers. I thank God for that. Hopefully everything will be back to normal by the 12th of October. And this I am thankful for because it happened just before the very peak period of Creole Festival, where we have hundreds and hundreds of persons or patrons coming in between the 3 islands. So hopefully we should be back ready to go with all our vessels by the 12th of October.
Operations Supervisor at the Shipping Department of HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited, Hans Victor. From the region, the United States has placed St. Lucia on its Tier 2 watch list in the 2025 Trafficking in Persons report, signaling concerns over the country's limited progress in addressing human trafficking. According to the U.S. State Department, St. Lucia, like other countries on the tier, did not meet the minimum standards for eliminating trafficking, but is making efforts to do so. However, the report notes that the government failed to demonstrate overall increased efforts compared to the previous year. St. Lucia's Counter-Trafficking Act has been in place since 2010, but the U.S. report highlights a lack of enforcement. The Tier 2 watch list is a warning category. Mass layoffs of U.S. federal workers are imminent and could begin within 2 days, the White House says, as lawmakers trade blame over the first government shutdown in almost 7 years. It began on Wednesday after Republicans and Democrats in Congress failed to agree to a new spending plan before the previous day's midnight deadline. There is little sign that either side is willing to compromise, and the votes to end the shutdown failed just hours after it began. The next attempts will be made on Friday. That's news. Sports is next.
Yummy. Yummy. Looking for something sweet, chewy, delicious, or even crunchy? We've got you covered. Mars and Wrigley's products are the perfect pick for all your sweet tooth cravings. Available in M&M's, Twix, Milky Way, Snickers, Skittles, and even gummies. So next time your cravings are at an all-time high, choose Mars and Wrigley's.
Available at Fine Foods Inc. distribution or your favorite supermarket island-wide.
Since 1910, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited has proudly served Dominica, offering a wide variety of products and services in shipping, logistics, insurance, travel, retail, and wholesale. We are committed to serve you. Contact us today at 767-255-1100 or visit us at our main office on Old Street, Roseau. From humble beginnings to proud achievements, HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited.
Petro Caribe. Tank installation is part of our mission. Excellent client support is what we got. Contribution to development of Dominica. Supply of LPG at an affordable rate. Let's go. Petro Caribe straight. No time to waste. So come on everyone with me to Petro Caribe. 250 gallon propane tank. 420 pound propane tank. 100 pound LPG cylinder. Petro Caribe. 20 pound fiberglass cylinder. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe. Petro Caribe.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Here's a quick tip from NBD.
A quick tip from the National Bank of Dominica Limited. Scammers may send fake emails or texts. Remember, NBD will never ask you to reset your more banking password or share your card PIN, CVV, or other sensitive information this way. Stay alert. Stay secure. When in doubt, contact NBD, your partner, your bank.
Welcome to the Morning Sports Report. We start off with cricket news. The West Indies team is up against India in the first test in Ahmedabad. West Indies batted first, folded for 162. The India team is batting at this time. The score's 107 for 2. That's India batting, 107 for 2. Of course, as we told you, West Indies folded for 162. Session 3, that is. India is trailing by 55 runs, and we'll bring you the latest score at the end of the morning sports report. 2 goals from Kiran Maglo as the Fokole FC punched the ticket into the quarterfinals of the DFA Division 1 League as the round of 16 got underway last night at the DFA Technical Center. Fokole cruised to the 5-1 win over the All Saints. Curdell Joseph, Dwight Walsh and Rick Nation also scored for Fokole. Action continues in the round of 16 tonight with Wayne George Academy taking on St. Joseph FC and RC Doctors playing Kensborough FC. Cricket West Indies will undergo a restructuring of its domestic tournaments. Cricket West Indies Chief Executive Officer Chris Darren told a media briefing on Wednesday that the current model is not sustainable. He says a number of changes will be coming to the West Indies cricket as the CWI is likely to face financial challenges in the next year.
The year 25-26 financial year for us is going to be one of those tasks at hand that we have to deal with. And it's going to be a very challenging financial year for us. And it's no secret that West Indies cricket suffers from a cyclical scenario where when we host countries like India or England, we're able to hold our head above water because those tours tend to pay for themselves. The international broadcast rights for the television product that we produce then helps us to fund all the development programs, all the tournaments that we host every year. When we have to host Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and New Zealand, as much as we enjoy the cricket playing against them, hosting those teams comes with a financial price. Cricket West Indies is the only regional body, the only sport that literally pays for everything to do with our regional tournaments. The only sport. So when a team comes from Jamaica, comes from Barbados, comes from Guyana, Cricket West Indies pays for everything. The airlift, the hotels, all costs of the tournament, etc. That doesn't happen in any other sport where national teams are usually supported by their countries. Now, when you're hosting 25 or 30 of these tournaments and events, it becomes much more unsustainable. And we're starting to feel the pinch of it. And so we need to have an entire reimagining of how we do our domestic tournaments, how we spend our developmental funds, and so on. So there's an entire re-engineering that has to take place there.
The Cricket West Indies Chief Executive Officer says Cricket West Indies will be approaching the corporate community to get more involved with West Indies cricket.
We spend roughly $5.5 million US every year on airlines. We spend maybe $9 million US a year. Direct spend. You can probably double that at least if you think about the visiting fans that have to stay in those same hotels, use the same airlines and so on. So you're talking about over a 10-year period, maybe $100 million US that we are putting into the Caribbean economies and putting into those airlines pockets and those hotels pockets. I can't tell you if we get one red penny of sponsorship from any of those entities. And we're not asking for largesse, as I said. This is your economic return. This is a product that should be important to you. And so we're going to be targeting corporate Caribbean to ensure that they understand the importance and the value of West Indies cricket to them, just as a pure economic value, and trying to get them much more engaged in it. Because all they need to do is do the calculation if West Indies cricket was to go away, what it would do to their bottom line.
Cricket West Indies Chief Executive Officer Chris Darin. Meantime, CWI Director of Cricket Miles Bascom says changes will come to the number of venues being utilized for international cricket.
There are likely to be changes in terms of the number of matches, the number of venues that we use generally, and the number of matches per venue. Just for context, moving countries with an international touring party requires charter flights, it requires air freight for production equipment, and that cost is at a minimum around $200,000 per hop. Right, so every one of those hops that we're able to cut out saves the company $200,000 at a minimum. We would also need a lot of support from governments in terms of concessions. Many of them already offer these concessions to us, and so the preliminary countries that have been identified for matches have been those countries who have traditionally offered us that support.
CWI Director of Cricket Miles Bascom. West Indies cricketer Kavem Hodge has called on student athletes to be prepared to push the boundaries and step out of the comfort zone if they are to succeed. Hodge was a featured speaker at the 30th Sports Division School Sports Awards. Over 200 awards were handed out to deserving students and schools at the event, which was held at the American-Canadian School of Medicine on Wednesday. Hodge told the students that they should not settle at being the best among themselves.
If you're a big fish in a small pond, that's all you will ever be.
the boss of that pond. But the moment you find yourself in a lake where there are bigger fishes, then you're going to have to adapt. You're going to have to grow mentally and physically if you want to survive and be successful. And that philosophy has stayed with me till this very day. I'm sure there are many of you here who are the big dogs. The strongest in your class, the strongest boy in your class, the fastest girl in your school, or the most athletic person in your village. That's all well and good. But if that's all you aspire to be, the biggest fish in that little pond, you will never realize your true potential. It's only when you find yourself in that lake where the other fishes are bigger, the competition is much tougher than you, and you don't have a choice but to break out of that comfort zone, to run a little further, to lift a little heavier, to spend an extra half hour working on your craft. That is how you achieve greatness, by pushing your boundaries and breaking your barriers.
West Indies cricketer Kavem Hodge, meantime Minister of State with responsibility for sports, Senator Oscar George, told the student athletes that they must be committed to training and putting in the hard work if they are to succeed.
My first advice to you young athletes, ensure that you love and have a passion for whatever sport you decide to play. My second piece of advice, you also have to be committed to the process and committed to improving on your game. You have to prepare to make the time to train and practice. And these days, we get too many petty excuses why we cannot train. Can you believe that an athlete would say that the sun is too hot? And then we go ahead and we put lights on the playing field, and then they come up with a different excuse. We have to make the time to train and to practice. And as our featured speaker mentioned, you have to practice with the same intensity as you would in an actual game. That's how you get better as an athlete. And finally, prepare yourself mentally. Sport has a lot to do with your mental ability. So ensure that you can face different circumstances and excel.
Minister of State with responsibility for sports, Senator Oscar George. Meantime, the Castlebrook Secondary School has been named the Secondary School of the Year in Sports. The other nominees were Northeast Comprehensive and Portsmouth Secondary School. Parliamentary representative for Castlebrook, Octavia Alfred, commended the school for a job well done.
Castlebrook Secondary featured in 9 finals and they won 5 championships in the 2024-2025 academic year. This is a school that also does well in other subject areas, skill subjects and other subjects. If we listen to the results of the CCSLC, this is a high-performing school. Castlebrook Secondary is proving that students can be involved in sports and still do well in their other subject areas. Some of the students who form part of those teams are also students who perform highly in their high performers in their classes. So I want to say congratulations and high commendations to the principal and staff of the Castlebrook Secondary and to the people who are involved in the sports program, Mr. Watson, Mr. Serafin, Miss John Baptiste, and Mrs. Kazimi, who comes to help also. Let us continue to put our best foot forward as we aim to produce wholesome students from this secondary school.
Parliamentary representative for Castlebrook, Octavia Alfred, the top primary school of the year in sports is the Seneca Primary School. They edged out the other nominees, St. John's and Will Strathmore Primary School. Taking a look at some of the other awards handed out, Kenya John was named the MVP in the school's under-20 netball division. Amaya Bromont was named MVP in the girls' NBD primary schools football tournament. Elik Philogen was MVP in the boys' developmental division, while Jalen Victor got the MVP for the Division 1 league. Chance Marshall was named the MVP in schools under 17 football. Kian Thomas was named MVP in schools under 20 football. West Indies under 19 player Arsenio Fontaine took the majority of the under 20 cricket awards. Gordisha Joseph was named female MVP in schools volleyball, and Amani Francis was the boys MVP in volleyball. Delisa Julian was named schools under 20 female basketball MVP, and Mishak Debole was named boys under 20 basketball MVP. Well, just before we end the morning sports report, just to give you the latest score, West Indies team up against India in the first test in Ahmedabad. We told you earlier that West Indies folded for 162, while India batting at 113 for 2. 113 for 2. On behalf of the News and Sports Department, the Links personnel Hazari Williams, I am